I would say you need to send around 2 to 5,000 pieces to really see
Okay.
calls come in.
Okay.
It could be more depending on your market. And also, I would say you need to have a budget to be able to send to that same list 6 times and send 6 times in 6 months. Like,
Okay. That's
I
helpful.
think that's where a lot of people make the mistake is they send one piece of mail and they're like, my,
It didn't do
this is a loss. I'm not doing, it's not
Yeah.
making me any money. It's like, okay, well, I've shown up to a seller's house and they have literally 20 mailers from me alone.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we knew that you were the guy because you won't leave us alone. We just needed to like get some stuff in order.
Yeah.
So it's that, it's that follow up, it's that consistency.
Welcome back to the Peep Podcast, folks, where we discuss the latest and greatest in REI tech, trends, and inspo. My name's MJ. I'm going to be your host as usual, and I'm so excited to welcome Josh Axe to the show today. If you are looking to figure out how to crush it in direct mail, then you need to pay attention and tune in. So without any further delay, Josh, thanks for being here, man. How are you?
What an intro. Thank you, MJ.
You got to
I
deliver
feel
now.
I feel better about myself. Dang.
Oh, there you go. I think when anyone describes a person as crushing it in anything, then you're like, I think I am doing
Yeah.
something right
Hell yeah, I
here.
should listen. Yeah, I should take notes.
So, so your company, NEPA Cash Offer, you guys primarily focus on flips in the Pennsylvania region, right? And so tell us a little bit about before we get into direct mail, like how did you get started? When did you get started? What got you into real estate?
My dad had his license because he didn't want to pay brokers and never did anything with it. So I've always kind of been around real estate. And then I moved to Canada, British Columbia for a couple years and
Okay.
moved from there to Phoenix and was involved with an addiction recovery program.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working there as a program director and wanted to make some more money, get out of that, charitable industries space. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I talked to someone who was on the board at the time, and his son-in-law had a property management business. And so I got into the property management side of things and learned pretty quick, like, wow, all these people are making 400 or 500 bucks a month in cash flow, and
Uh-huh.
we're doing all the work. How do I
Yeah.
get some rentals?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of became my focus, was like learning that aspect of it of like, how do I buy these properties? But what the company was really good at was generating leads.
Okay.
So my job was to sign up the owners, which is how I would see like, dang, they're making all this
Mm.
money and we're doing everything. So started doing that, started learning and switched to a different company. And the second company was not great at getting leads.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, we need to get leads. How
Mm-hmm.
do we get leads? So that's when I dove into like finding sellers, finding homeowners, trying to like figure out how all that worked. And then, I had my license. So a cousin of mine was like, hey, do you know how to sell a house? And I'm like, no, but I'll figure it out. Like,
Sure.
give me a shot,
Yep.
like I'll give you a huge discount
Mm-hmm.
and I'll figure that piece of it out. So I did. And he like sold the house and bought a house the same day. And so like both closings happened the same day.
Yeah, that's
And then
not
I got
easy.
like I
Yeah,
know, and I got a check for like 7 grand or 8 grand or something. And I'm like, oh shoot, like I
I
could
like
make
this.
some good money. This is way better than property management. How do I
Yeah.
sell, 5 or 6 houses in a month? So really like leaned into the sales aspect of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I lived in Canada, I was like selling furniture. So like I had some skills selling, talking to people.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my wife got into PA school in Pennsylvania. And
Okay.
so we moved from Arizona to Pennsylvania. So the northeastern PA region. So we lived in Luzerne County. And so now, and that whole story is, I ended up buying a 35 unit apartment building for my first deal.
Wow.
It was
Okay.
99% seller financing.
Whoa.
So we put like $13,000 down on this building.
Crazy.
best deal ever, grand slam. Like, and you got to remember, so like when I started learning real estate, it was 2014.
Okay.
And every single day I was listening to podcasts, Bigger Pockets, reading,
Hmm.
learning. From
Yeah.
Bigger Pockets, I'd find other investors. I'd start listening to their podcasts. Like my wife could recite the intros to like every real estate podcast out there. And
That's
she's
how
like,
often. Yeah.
you're a freak, like stop.
Yeah.
So, 2017 rolls around and we find this apartment building. We were, everyone talks about driving for dollars. We were walking our dogs, and my buddy and I found this building. We're like, that looks kind of crappy. I wonder if they're
Hmm.
motivated. So sent him a letter.
Yeah.
He lived in Mexico. Like all the it was run down, poorly managed.
Yeah.
All the things you look for in a deal, it
Hmm.
had. So
What kind of like was it a neighborhood, B, C? What like that
um
like the
I
there's a
would
few
say it's a
property
B.
condition, but
Yeah, it's a B neighborhood, but it's a D building. So it
okay.
almost like had like a motel kind of vibe.
Yeah.
People were there every week paying cash. They weren't
Mhm.
fixing things.
Yeah.
So we bought it January of 17. That was my first like investor deal that was like not a home owned, like
Hmm.
homeowner type thing. So
Yeah.
bought it in January of 17. And um, the point I wanted to make about like learning for those 3 years was like you could say like, wow, you got so lucky. But it's like, yeah, but I spent 3 years preparing,
Hmm.
learning,
Yeah.
understanding, practicing, And so then when that opportunity presented itself, I was prepared.
You're ready.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, luck is preparation meeting opportunity.
Hmm.
So like you
Hmm.
can't get lucky if you're not prepared. So that's kind
You
of
won't.
my point on that.
No, I love it, and you won't know what to do with the opportunity,
Right.
even if it came knocking on
Exactly.
your door, right?
Yeah.
Um, so from there, like that was your first deal, that 35
Mhm.
unit, and then was it just kind of a kind of like a snowball effect
Yeah.
where you were like,
Yeah.
hey,
So that one, so that was a rental, you know, deal. We did a cash out refinance like 8 months later and pulled out like almost 400,000.
mm-hmm.
So at that point I had cash. So my business partner, he was a anesthesiologist, and he's like, I don't want to do flips. I'm like, I want to do some flips. And in the meantime, prior to that cash out, I had bought one flip, and it was like this $14,000 house I shouldn't have bought.
Mm,
But I'm like, I'm just gonna figure it out. And so I
family.
bought it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up buying it, and um I think I made like 1,500 bucks on it or something like over 5 months. And just like scraping by, like I had a private lender fund the deal, and like
Mhm.
he made way more money than I did. It was awful. So I'm like, this sucks. But we did that cash out, and I'm like, all right, well now I'm like a legit cash buyer. So I'm going to send some mail. And
Mhm.
so at that point, I think I had maybe sent a piece, a mailer or two, but very small, 400 or 500 pieces. And um, I didn't, I mean, that's how I bought the first house. But like this guy was hounding me for months, like, please buy my house.
Mhm. Mm.
And so I got it. But
You're like, fine,
then
fine, fine.
after I had cash though, it was like, oh, I'm an actual cash buyer. Now I can
Mhm.
say I'm a cash buyer and mean it, and
Back it up. Yeah.
feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I sent my first mailer, and like no bullshit, I probably made 100,000 in profit from that first mailer. And it was
Mm.
like
Yeah.
2,000 pieces. It was a very
Mm.
small
That's
mailer.
a limited
So
run. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's like had you what drew you towards direct mail? Had you been listening, like were there,
Yeah.
investors on some of those shows, some of those podcasts that were saying like, hey, this is the way to go?
Yeah, so I grew up listening to like Michael Quarles. So Michael Quarles out of like Bakersfield, California or whatever. He was like a big name. He was doing wholesaling, and he owned yellowletters.com. So of course he's like pitching his
Or-
product and all of his
Yeah,
things, but
yeah.
what he said made sense. And I liked his approach to sellers. I liked his approach to real estate. And like prior to me sending that, mailer, there was a guy in church and someone in church was like, "Hey, you're in real estate, right?" And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, this guy John has this property and he needs some help with it. Like he doesn't know what to do. I think he's going to lose it. Like, could you just talk to him and see what's going on?" So I'm like, yeah. So I went and talked to him and I found out that he was in foreclosure and his property was up for tax auction. So
Okay.
he hadn't paid his taxes in 3 or 4 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think he owed like 6 or 7 grand. And he was just going to walk away from his house.
Oh,
And a lot of times,
yeah.
especially in that county, like when people go to the auction, they pay like what's owed on the taxes and sometimes less.
Okay.
And so I'm like, this guy's going to lose his property that's probably worth 50, 60 grand as is.
Hmm.
Just walk away, get foreclosed on, have bad credit, all the things that come with that, get forced out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if there's a way to help these guys, like they have no options or feel like they
Hmm.
have no options. So that was the genesis of me looking up like, well, he's got delinquent real estate taxes. Like, I wonder if I could find that list.
Hmm.
So then I went to the county and I was able to purchase the list.
Hmm.
Now everyone's hitting that list, but
Yeah.
back then I was like, I think I'm the only person doing this, at least
Yeah.
in the area
At
that I
least
was
here.
investing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why it was like I sent that first mailer and I want to say it was like
Mhm.
2,000 pieces, but I mean, I bought some of the best deals ever. And then, shortly after my business partner on the rentals was like, "Hey, I think I kind of do want to maybe do some flips. Yeah, it seems like it's going pretty well. Yeah, maybe you do know what you're doing."
No wrong.
Yeah. So
Done. Yeah.
so it was great.
That's awesome. Well, and like so you've been doing mailers now for like close to 10 years, right? And so,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
right,
eight
come
8 years for
coming
sure.
up on it. Yeah. So like what are some common I guess what are some common mistakes that you or some lessons that you've learned when it comes to that strategy specifically, right?
Well, make
Like,
sure you put the right phone number.
okay, that would be a great
I've,
starting point. Mhm.
I've sent mail before with the wrong phone number. And the only way I found out was a seller found me, like Googled me, found me and was like, "Hey, dummy, you sent mail to me and you don't have the right phone number, but I Googled you and found you, and I do want to sell my house."
There you go. There you go. You're
So it's
like,
like, are
it
you
goes
kidding
to
me?
a local veterinarian clinic. You're like, this is
Yeah,
not what I
so bad.
intended.
So make sure the phone number's right.
Okay.
Um,
So edit, just proofread and triple check.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. Call the phone number.
Mhm.
And then a lot of people just mail blanket equity lists. Like the key is like niching down your
Mhm.
list. I like to say to people, like, if you could send 10 mailers and buy 10 deals, wouldn't
Mhm.
you, like, you would spend $100 on a mailer, $1,000 on a mailer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't care if you knew that was going to get
Mhm.
you a deal. So, like, eliminate as many people from your list as possible is
Okay.
it's like my approach, right? So, like,
Interesting. Yeah.
it's all about the filters. And so, I kind of go through this whole process of like elimination on the mailers because a lot of people are like, well, mailers don't work. The ROAS sucks. It's like,
Well, there is
okay, well,
it too broad, essentially. They're casting
a
too
lot of
broad net.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to find like, if
Mhm.
you can have, it's through tagging. So like,
Mhm.
um, we can get real nitty gritty on this, but
Let's do it.
yeah, so when I pull my lists, I'll do like delinquent tax, pre-foreclosure, inherited, vacant, has
Mhm.
equity, multifamily in the areas I like, and there's some others that I'm probably forgetting, like condemned property lists, you know,
Mhm.
whatever other lists there's so many that I pull now. And then
Yeah.
I'll actually upload all of those lists onto PropStream. So a lot
Okay.
of people don't realize that you can actually upload the list. And so when you
Mhm.
upload that list, it makes it to where it formats all of those lists in the exact same way. Because
Okay.
right? Like what happens with a delinquent tax list is like you'll have the parcel number and then some weird code that the county uses to figure out whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Useless to me in that format.
Hmm.
So when I upload that list and all of the other lists,
Yeah.
it gives it a uniform format.
So
And
you can
so at that
interpret the
point,
data without losing
right,
your mind.
right. But
Yeah.
then I can, so
Yeah.
then I'll export each of those lists individually,
Hmm.
and then I'll put all of them on a spreadsheet, and then I'll like start the merge process. And so every time I merge, I keep columns on the far right hand side,
Hmm.
and I'll score each of those individual lists. So, the delinquent tax is a point, pre-foreclosure is a point, vacant is a
Hmm.
point, inherited is a point. And so when I merge all of those, when I merge all of those, the the way that I do it will give me a point system. So then if I have
Okay.
properties that have between 3 and 5 points, if their property is currently vacant,
Hmm.
it's been inherited, it's in pre-foreclosure, and it has delinquent taxes, and it's on the condemned list, what do you think the likelihood of that person wanting or needing to sell
Hmm.
is?
Yeah.
Through the roof,
Super, super
right?
high. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
person is so valuable to send a piece of mail to, right?
Hmm.
So they're almost raising their hand. Oh, failed listing is another one too. So like
Okay.
failed listing is another great one that I add on there because they've tried to sell the property and it's failed.
Yeah.
So they've already told me through their actions that um, they're
This
needing
is
to
what I
sell that
want.
property.
Yeah, this is
Exactly.
what I want, and I
Yep.
may need some help
And
with it. Hmm.
they've tried the formal route. It didn't
Yeah.
work. So now they need someone like us to come in and buy it.
Yeah.
So when you score your lists that way, it allows you to send far, far less mail and have a
Okay.
way higher success rate, right?
Well, so and that's what that was a question I was going to get to was, is there a recommended cadence that you're sending these out at, or, kind of frequency?
I I send out typically every 3 to 4 weeks,
Okay. Okay.
like they're all super
Yeah.
motivated. So it's like I want when they do decide, hey, now
Hmm.
I'm ready to sell, but I'm not ready to sell, you know.
Yeah.
So if I can continue to hit that list until they tell me to stop, then I'll do that.
Okay.
Um,
So that same list, you're repeating it essentially every month.
yeah. And
Okay.
I'll pull new lists and do my whole process probably once a quarter.
Okay. What's like a good response rate, you know? What would you consider?
And I don't actually track that as much like as well as I should. I
Mhm.
just know that you know, I've probably hit every motivated person in both the counties that I invest in multiple
Okay.
times. So
Yeah.
you run out of people to send. And so I don't really look at like, well, how many calls do I get? Like calls are very, they go all over the place, but
Mhm.
we average like a 6 or 7 ROAS on mail, which is great.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah. And it's just
Yeah.
going up. Like I think based on the numbers I had when I ran them last month, with everything that's in our pipeline, we'll hit a 10x ROAS. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
not too bad.
spend 15, make 150,
Yeah.
pretty good.
Well, so it's helpful to hear kind of your thoughts behind all this, right? As you're especially for investors who are listening who are either doing direct mail right now, maybe want looking to optimize their strategy there, or those who haven't tried it. Um,
Yeah.
do you find, Josh, that like higher end, so to say, like higher end postcards or mailers or letters, like they do better, they outperform, maybe simpler ones, or is it the opposite? You know?
Well, it can go both ways. I mix up my pieces because I feel like different pieces speak to different people.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's sending the pressure sealed checks. Those seem to be really hot. Everyone loves them and they work. So like
Yeah.
there's a reason. Um, but I also, listening to Michael Quarles forever,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and this has been my like mantra forever is like, if a person's motivated, they'll call you. Don't overcomplicate it. Like you could write on a napkin, hey, I buy houses in this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Call me if you want to sell. If that person's going through whatever it is and they need to sell, they're going to call you. It doesn't matter that it's on a napkin. It doesn't matter that it's on a pizza box.
I
Like
agree. Yeah.
they'll call you. Find the motivated seller. That's the thing. Like, and that's why PPC and PPL does so well for people.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, I'm motivated. Call
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
Like
Get in touch.
we're just doing it the other way. And the cool thing too about direct mail, I've tried TV, radio, billboards, you know, mail has been hands down the best. And I think that's kind of unique to my market for a couple of reasons. Like, my market has a lower median home price.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Phoenix, you can buy a lot and it's 200 grand. You could buy a mobile home and it's 150 to 200 grand.
Okay. Yeah.
In Pennsylvania where I'm at, I've had people like offer to give me the property and they'll pay everything delinquent. Like I don't pay any money to buy their property and I still don't do it because it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, TV doesn't work necessarily because I get calls from such a wide geographic area
Mm-hmm.
that the deal, it just never makes sense. And
Okay.
it's hard for us to make, 30, 40 grand on a deal because our median price is so low.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when you factor in that, like, a lot of those houses won't qualify anyways, it's not great. But with direct mail, I can choose who calls me.
Yeah. No,
So my
that's
phone
great.
only rings. My phone only rings when I've qualified them.
Yeah.
So it
By
makes,
qualifying and vetting your list,
yeah,
then it's already like you've put this wide net through a sieve, right? Or a
yeah.
filter. And so you're whittling it down. Eh, how has you've been doing direct mail for some time now? So have you seen it change? Have you seen that landscape change over the last, let's say, like 3 to 5
Yeah.
years? And
I mean, it's
And you got to
part
know,
of it.
Josh, like, sorry to interrupt you, right? I'm asking also because with the advent of AI and tech and all that,
Mhm.
and like this changing digital landscape that's moving so fast, I'm curious, that is the background. What changes have you seen?
Um, I mean, not a ton for like
Mhm.
new tech or things like that. I mean, I think there's a lot smarter list building things. Like I
Mm.
route my way through it. There's probably an AI version of what I do that's, faster, more affordable, and more
Mhm.
accurate. And, I've kind of been working on some things with some people in that space where,
Yeah.
if you could find those people before a pre-foreclosure record is filed,
Yeah.
you're there first. So there's some things that like I'm working on to try and, you know, ride that wave, but
Hmm.
mail has been kind of tried and true and not a lot's changed. I think there are some clever things I've seen, like, with webhook and one-off sends, where if someone submits their info on your website, you send them a thank you card. Like there's some like little cutesy things like that, but in terms of like it's gotten more competitive, at least for sure in my market. Like all of my competitors know that I send mail and I crush with it, so they're all trying to do the same thing. Um, So, there's competition and that's fine.
Yeah.
We've
More people coming
we're
into the space.
we're good at what we do and we pay
Mhm.
well. Like, I mean, too
Yeah.
well. I just lost 18,000 on a deal just last week. So,
Yeah.
like sometimes we pay too much and we try to help people out and it doesn't work for us,
Yeah.
but everyone sees, you guys make so much money. It's like, well, you don't see the ones where we lose and
Yeah.
you don't seem so thrilled about it then, you
Mhm,
know.
mhm. Yeah, 100%.
So,
It's really easy, I think, human nature is to focus on what we can see and,
mhm.
sometimes minimize the lead up or the work that's happening behind the scenes and or, right, like, the balancing nature of all, right? So there's a lot of
Definitely.
burdens and victories, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of lessons learned, to get there sometimes. So for anyone who's just starting out with investing, would you recommend, like a minimum budget of any sort when it comes to direct
Yeah,
mail for it to really
I
be
would
worth it?
I would say you need to send around 2 to 5,000 pieces to really see
Okay.
calls come in. It,
Okay.
it, it could be more depending on your market. And also, I would say you need to have a budget to be able to send to that same list 6 times and send 6 times in 6 months. Like,
Okay. That's
I
helpful.
think that's where a lot of people make the mistake is they send one piece of mail and they're like, my,
It didn't do
this is a loss. I'm not doing, it's not
Yeah.
making me any money. It's like, okay, well, I've shown up to a seller's house and they have literally 20 mailers from me alone.
Mhm.
And they're like, we knew that you were the guy because you won't leave us alone. We just needed to like get some stuff in order.
Yeah.
So it's that, it's that
Yeah.
follow up, it's that consistency, you know. And then, we put some clever things on the mail. Like, here's some pro tips for people is like,
Mhm.
you put on there, like, save this with your important house things,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Um, Another one that works in competitive markets is you can put, um, if the buyers try to renegotiate days before closing, call us. We won't. We'll
Mm.
meet or beat their price if we can,
Yeah.
and we'll close on the same day.
That's great.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, hold on.
Mhm.
All right. Figured it out.
Yeah. No, so it's like nothing will be lost, right? If that's the
Yeah.
case.
Mhm.
You're giving them a lateral move and maybe one that's less excruciating, so
Yeah.
they can rely on you guys more. Uh, whether it's something that your company has done over at NEPA or it's a mailer that you've received, what's the weirdest or most creative, thing you've seen on a mailer?
We had these awesome ones. I want
Mhm.
to make sure my camera won't turn off if I move this, but it was from Yellow Letter HQ,
Okay.
and it was like, I don't remember what it was called, but it's just a massive letter, and it's like two yellow pads
Yep.
together. Like, it's this big of a mailer, and
Like
you can't
folded
read. There you go.
into
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
trifold.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
trifold.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive. And literally, I even had my competitors like, dude, this is good. Like,
What was it? Just the size of
okay,
it, or
you
what was
figured
on
it
it?
out.
It's just the
Yeah.
size was what was
Well,
like.
yeah, the size was massive. And then it was just like your standard kind of yellow letter type mailer that's like, houses wanted, call us for this property, call us on this
Mhm.
property address. We're interested in buying it.
Yeah.
And so it was like, that one was fun because even my competition's like, dude, this is bound to get attention. Like, good job.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That's
I
so
wish I could,
funny.
say I came up with it, but I didn't. But that was the fun one that
Yeah. Oh, that's
people got a
awesome.
kick out of.
No, it's great to hear. I mean, in the world of ever evolving tech, it is great to hear that a strategy like direct mail is still killing it, right?
Mhm.
And that people are, responding to that. It's having impact. It's, you're able to help serve your community as well, right?
For sure.
Through these purchases. I similarly, I got into real estate in the sense that I grew up going with my father to open houses.
Oh, nice.
He wasn't a broker. Him, was looking to purchase.
Yep.
But yeah, it's neat how some of those, like early memories lay a foundation where,
For sure.
you can go away from it and then you come back a little and you're like, man, I guess it was all written.
Yeah. So was he on the rental side or flip side?
Yeah, rental side. He had done a couple of flips along the way. I think I've done a few more flips at this point than him, but he got into more of holding, and then he did
Okay.
like his portfolio consisted of like larger commercial, properties, so
Oh,
like
nice.
100
Smart.
units, right? Like yeah, and it was neat. The cool thing was that he's the oldest of including himself 6 siblings, but he brought
Mhm.
4 of his siblings over from India to the US with the power of real estate, and they all got involved
Awesome.
in real estate,
Yeah.
so everyone has it's really neat like the when we think about the ability to transform lives, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's generational wealth beyond just our units and our families, our greater community, it's really kind of refreshing to think about the impact that you can
Sure.
make. So,
Yep.
well, it's been stellar to have you, Josh. I mean, you guys are up to some good things. What's coming up next for NEPA Cash Offer? You guys just crushing in
Yeah.
PA? How's
We
you know?
I've thought a lot about that because the wholesale laws changed back in
Mhm.
January, and we talked a little bit before the show on that. And the thing that I think I want to really look into is like, we have a unique market in the sense that we cash flow pretty well.
Okay.
especially comparative to like a Phoenix market.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to dive more into that turnkey space. There's opportunities on the deals that we buy and remodel, um, that make great rental properties that people
Hmm.
here could benefit, especially when you factor in the tax savings.
Hmm.
So that's kind of something I want to lean into. We just have to work out like the management piece of it.
Yeah.
Besides that, we're dialed in. So,
That's awesome.
that's kind of the next step. Because once you sell a flip, you make no more money on it. If we can
Yeah.
continue to monetize that asset long term, um, be
Yeah. Who
even
knows?
better.
Right. Yeah. That's great.
Hmm.
Well, we're really excited to see where you guys are kind of off to, jet setters that y'all are. Um, do you think you'll expand into other, markets at some point? Not right now. Yeah.
No, I had a call with someone not too long ago, and
Mhm.
I really just we know our market so well,
Mhm.
and um, I just want to own my backyard.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
we're good at what we do there. We know it really well. We have some like established brand recognition.
Yeah.
Just do it there. We
Mhm.
already have the
Right.
team. We've got great people. Like my acquisition manager is an absolute killer.
Mhm.
Like everyone's just so dialed there that it's like, let's keep doing what we're doing. Like I've
Yeah.
tried branching out and it hasn't worked every time.
Yeah.
We're just really good in our market.
That's awesome. Well, I guess if for the listeners out there you want to catch Josh, you're just gonna have to head over to PA/, Arizona at some point. But if not,
Yeah.
catch him on our show at least on the Pete podcast.
Well,
We're stoked that we got to have you. Um, and yeah, again, if you're looking to really dial it in with your direct mail and you're looking for some tips and whatnot, who knows? Josh might start coaching at some point. I think he's ripe for it. So just putting that out
Zero
there.
J. Appreciate it.
um, but yeah, we'll be in touch, and it's exciting to see what you guys will be moving on to. So
Awesome.
keep at it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's.